Hi, I'm Miles.
And I'm Marika.
And this is I Don't Know What I'm Doing.
Because we don't.
Hey guys, it's Marika and Miles, and it's all about failing as adults.
You know this, but what if you're new and you don't? I don't know.
Miles is like thinking that we're gonna get people that don't know us.
It's like
As our
I'm
audience.
acting like something viral happened and we have new fans, but of course we don't.
No, we don't. This is gonna happen very slowly,
Yeah.
like slow as molasses in winter.
Well, Marika is a poet.
And I didn't even know it.
I knew it. I have a fail.
Ooh, finally.
So, Tuesday was my half birthday. Marika didn't give me anything, but it
course
was 30 and a half. And my mom came into town, not for my half birthday. She's on a road trip.
Right.
Where she's like seeing all the
All the
family and the
grandkids.
step family and the grandkids and the Aunt Artemis. And so she came into town with my stepdad, Jason, and we had lunch with my Aunt Artemis, and that was fine. But I just, it's your parents, right?
Oh my God.
So
Awful.
we're in the car, and I don't have a parking sticker for her, which I should have done ahead of time. So we're in the car, and Mom's like, can you just look up, we need to get the parking sticker so we can park, or else we're not going to be able to park, and our car will get towed, and then we'll owe this money. I'm like, Mom, shut up. I'm doing it right now. So I'm on her phone, because my phone doesn't have data. And I really wish, I'm like a computer person. I'm like, can I just fucking do this with a mouse and a keyboard?
Okay.
So I'm on her fucking phone, I can't type on a phone, so I'm typing everything wrong. It's taking like forever. And I'm trying to look up like who you call, and I'm like, I think it's the alderman, and then they're like, on Google, they're like, it's actually the circuit clerk. So then I'm trying to figure out what my ward is in the city to look that up, and this and that. And my mom, meanwhile, is like, honey, have you done it yet? Should we just call? I'm like, call who, Mom? She's like, should we just call the alderman or whatever? And I'm like, it's actually the circuit clerk, and I learned that from Googling. She's like, well, I think that so she's rushing me when I'm just trying to help all of us.
Oh my
So I was like, Mom,
Karen.
this is so fucking stupid right now. And I got out of the car, went inside, got on my computer, used a fucking keyboard, figured it out, then came back. But I didn't figure it out because I was like, well, apparently you have to only order it online and it takes 10 days. My mom was like, well, I called some random woman and she told me that we have to go to Jefferson Park and we can get them now. So my mom was right in the having to call thing, but
she's thinking like you're not doing anything.
yeah, and I was like, I'm literally just trying to help us right now, and like, I don't know why we're in a rush, because it was just 1 p.m. on a Tuesday and I took the day off. We had nowhere to be. So, and then I called her fucking fake, and I just felt bad that I was like so mean to her.
Did you apologize?
No one apologized.
What? Even though I think you were in the wrong, mostly?
We like walked around it. Like I got back in the car and she was like, Jason, what should I say? Well, what should I say? What do I say to that? Because clearly they had a conversation where he was like, you're being crazy. So nobody apologized, but I was like, well, yeah, this is just a relationship because...
That's like my feeling.
So I kind of felt bad, but then the day like got better from there, but I don't know. It's just like the car was really hard because...
You hate parking.
Well, she's driving.
This is like driving and parking. Miles hates this.
I hate being a
parking.
passenger when someone's looking for parking. But this was an issue this time. But the car dynamic is horrible because my stepdad got in a car accident like a year and a half ago or something. So he's forever anxious in the car now. So it creates this horrible triangle where like my mom is driving we're sitting in traffic on the highway and she's like, I just don't like the city. And I'm like, so Chicago to you is traffic on the highway. I'm like, Mom, this is not my experience. Like, that's what I'm always trying to get her to understand. I'm like, I'm not driving in traffic here. And then anytime she's like looking at something, Jason's like, he's like, honey, watch out, watch out, watch out. She's like, I'm watching, Jason, sweetie. And he's like, okay, well, you just weren't looking for 0.5 seconds. And then I'm like, Mom, you need to calm down. She's like, I am trying to be calm. She's like, I have a smile on my face. I'm positive. I'm not yelling.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, well, you're fucking fake. Because you're fucking stressed out and you hate this. Like, it's...
Oh my God. It gives me so much anxiety.
It's out
I'm
of
like
control.
already annoyed. I'm already annoyed. And
It just makes me, like, mad.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
annoyed. I'm like, okay. Jason, you go to fucking therapy for this.
I think he does. And my mom's, of course, is a counselor, and it doesn't help anything.
Like my mom one time, she calls a restaurant, or calls me, I can't remember which, but she's like, I'm like, hello? And there's always a pause. Always a pause.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't know how to work a fucking phone.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, where's your dad? I'm like, I don't know. He's in a meeting, I think. He's like, I don't know how to turn on the headlights.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? It's like, because usually it's automatic. Like, it's always been on.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you've driven other cars before.
Right.
Why can't you figure this out? Why have you gotten stupider over time? That's what I think.
Uh-huh.
Like, you've gotten dumb over time. Because my dad is catering to every fucking whim for you.
Right. Yeah, I guess, like, I used to think that the older you got, the better and more effective of a person you would become.
AKA our podcast.
That is not true. People can get worse over time. They can get worse at things.
How is that possible? I mean, I get it. I just, like, I don't understand getting worse at trying to figure out stuff.
Being a problem solver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Why
understand.
that should never leave you, because that's always a relevant skill.
Yeah, and then you should get better at it. And I feel like I'm getting better at it, or, trying. I'm getting better at trying. I'm sorry. I'm getting better at trying, because before I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I'm putting more of an effort into trying to figure it out and not asking for help right away.
Wait, but I thought that your thing used to be that you weren't asking for enough help.
I guess, like, what I mean by asking for help is looking up on the internet.
That's like an easy crutch, because it's just so fast, and you're like,
I guess my fail this week is getting up late for work. So I had to run out the door, just put on clothes and, like, go. So I'm driving, and all of a sudden, this car decides to get from the left turn lane of this intersection, decides to come into my lane before I get into the intersection. So she has a red light to turn left, and I have the green, obviously, and she decides to get into my lane, and she hits me and pushes me into the other lane. Luckily, there's no one there.
Yeah.
Or I maneuvered out of the way, and the momentum was so much that I felt like I almost, like, hit the car in front of me. It just happened so fast. So
she hit you in the front or the side?
the side passenger.
Oh shit.
So long story short, my alignment is shot, and I couldn't drive to work. So basically, like, I had to rent a new car. It's Friday. It's college. First, like, people are going back to college, right?
Oh yeah.
Renting a car, the only thing they have left is a van.
What? Is that what you have today?
Yeah, this is what I have today.
Oh my god.
Van.
Wait, let's get a couch today.
I have to go to work. Ugh. Otherwise, I would. So when I first got this van, I noticed that the lights, the ceiling lights or whatever, are on. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah.
I try to turn it off by pushing it. Nope. Clicks. Nothing. Still on. Last night, turn on the car. All the lights in the interior are basically on. The back light for the trunk is on. The middle one is on. And the one in the front. All on. And they're, like, you could see the entire inside of my van. Okay? So fucking frustrated. Like, I try to figure out. I even opened the manual. It's been never opened. I opened the plastic. Try to figure it out. Nope. I'm like, what are these daylights? What are the, like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. What is this? There's no switch for, like, oh, automatic, blah, 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 door. No switch like that anywhere. Okay?
What kind of car is that?
It's a Caravan. Guess what year? 2018. okay, is there Bluetooth in this bitch? Nope. I tried to charge my phone. I charged my phone for 1 hour driving here.
Mm-hmm.
Still the same battery.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, great. It's because I'm listening to My Favorite Murder on the way. When I do it in my car, still charges efficiently. Mm-hmm. What's up with that? Don't know.
They're using all the charge power to power those daylights.
So, okay, last night my roommate helped me figure it out. Basically, like, there is a dial on the side of the steering wheel, and if it you know, and then I touched that, actually. Mm-hmm. Okay, what does this fucking dial do? And it was, like, turning down the illumination lights of the dashboard. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to mess with that because I need that.
Yeah.
No. That also is connected to the fucking interior lights. Somehow. Oh, great. So I have to, like, yeah, I don't fucking know.
So you choose between having a dashboard light with all the lights on or nothing?
I guess. We'll find out later tonight when I drive home
Put
from
a
work.
flashlight, like on the dashboard. Then just do like another light.
I don't know, like, and I was, like, praying to God that, like, a cop would pull me over. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, like, how your parents like, you can't have the car, like, lights in the car. Well, get pulled over. Like, do you remember that?
No, I was never told that.
Because sometimes I would, like, turn on the light when my parents were driving at night. And they're like, you can't have that. Like, get pulled over.
I feel like they made that up.
They did. They did
My
make
parents
that
would
up.
just be like, don't turn the light on because it makes it harder for me to drive at night because I have this other light on.
My parents never told me that.
Okay.
I wish they did because it made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But they said, like, no. Like, it attracts police officers and makes them want you to, like, get a ticket or whatever.
God, people just living in fear.
Yeah. No, my roommate also had the same thing.
Oh.
Like, she mentioned it to me. Like, it's a myth. It's an urban legend.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, now I know that. Mm-hmm. I try to figure it out. I before Googling it, I opened the manual. See? Okay. I'm like turning 31 and I opened the manual without using Google. Of course, I used Google later, but that was after the manual.
Right.
Couldn't help me.
Right. Do you want to introduce our topic today?
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun one.
It's real fun and it's also timely. I don't know how to deal with death.
Yeah.
Because if you guys follow my Instagram, we had to put Chaos down on Friday.
Why? Oh, no. Okay, so we don't need to go into why.
Okay, we can
Well, I mean,
go
he was
into why.
older.
Okay, so I don't. It just like I felt like kind of happens. Like he is an older dog. If you guys again follow my Instagram, my stories, like I posted a video of him on Monday night, and he was like whiny and like just he's a whiny baby. So, and he's like wagging his tail. He's like just being himself and like. Joanna, his owner, like, she was on vacation for the weekend, and I'm thinking, like, oh, like, he's missing her. He was, like, extra whiny that night. Like, I'm like, oh, he just, like, really misses her. Like, this is, like, day 4. Like, and I'm doing everything. Like, I'm, like, making a bed for him, because that's sometimes he whines about that. He likes to be covered. Like, giving him, like, his wet food with this dry food, taking him out, like, trying to play with him, and he's just being whiny. I'm like, okay, he just misses Joanna. She comes home, and I could tell he's, like, barks jumping up and down, like, he's excited, and then, like, later that night, he, like, is sick, like, he's throwing up, he has diarrhea, and we're, like, and I, like, wake up in the morning, that's when Joanna tells me, like, what's going on. He is just, like lethargic. Like, he doesn't want to lay down. He, like, and this dog, even though he's older, like, he loves to play. Like, he, like, just tries to be a puppy as much as he can, and, like, he just loves to play and jump up and down and whine and be this big baby. Anyways. And, like, there's certain areas of the house he doesn't really go into, like the bathroom. When I went to the bathroom to like pee, he came in there with me, which is like really strange. Like he doesn't do that. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. He, like, usually whacks his tail. He was not. He was just so, like, you could tell he's sick.
Yeah.
And Joanna, she just obviously doesn't go to work, takes him to the vet. I come back home. He's on this bed, and he's, like, not moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's, like, breathing, and he's having trouble breathing. The diagnosis is so far is, like, enlarged heart, and there's a mass in his abdomen. She has a syringe, like, water into his mouth. He's not eating. He's not getting up. And you know, like, when you're laying down and you're sick, you, like, adjust. You, like, move because lactic acid buildup in your muscles. It gets uncomfortable. He's not even doing that. He's not doing that. So I'm like, okay. I go to bed and I wake up thinking, like, I'm going to go downstairs. Joanna's going to be asleep on the couch and Chaos is going to be dead. And I will have to wake her up saying that her dog, like, passed away.
Yeah.
No, thank God, no. He's actually feeling better. He's getting up. You know, he ate food. He drank water. He went to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, thank God. They still kind of don't know what's happening, even though we all know what's happening. He's basically fucking dying. He's dying. So, get the test results back. He has heart disease, and he has probably cancer. And they want to do an ultrasound on his heart because I think one of his ventricles is larger than the other one, and I think it's the right ventricle that's usually larger than your left, but in this case for him, his left was larger than his right. So it's more of like a rare heart disease. So they can't even give him the proper medication without this ultrasound, and she's like, I can't fucking afford this. He's like, well, whatever you do, it's not going to improve that much of his life. So, and she's like, okay, I guess I have to put him down. And God, it was so fucking sad.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think I would cry that much, and I cried, like, and, like, I broke down, like, when we were, like, walking, as they were about to walk out the door, like, I, like, was crying a lot, and I mean, it's not even my fucking dog. So, and we were at the vet, I would, like, it's weird because I would get annoyed by stuff and want to say, like, how annoyed, like, I would say, like, I would want to say a snarky comment of what I was annoyed by.
Wait, what were you annoyed by at the vet?
Like, something like Joanna saying, or Adam, either Adam or Jana was said something annoying to me. Not in general, not directly to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to pick a fight because I want to avoid this whole situation. Like, I want to, like, take this energy elsewhere.
It's like when people, like, have sex at funerals and stuff.
See, I'd rather do that.
Here.
Okay, I don't want to, like, pick a fight with Joanna whose dog is dying.
Right, yeah, that's probably the worst thing you could do.
Okay? Like, I'm annoyed by her, like, being too emotional about her dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this your fucking dog, Marika? No, it's not, so shut your fucking mouth. And I obviously do. Like, I don't say anything. Because it's irrelevant to what's happening in this fucking terrible situation. So, yeah, like, I feel like we're in that too long. We're there for 2 hours.
Whoa.
I want to go home. Like, I don't want to be sad in this office. I want to go home. And, like, she's, like, holding her dog and petting him, like, and he's dead. And... yeah, she's, like, stroking it for at least good 30, 45 minutes.
See, that is, like, something that I never really knew about until my grandma died, and I wasn't, no, I had gotten back from Ecuador. But the only people that, like, went right after she died were, like, my dad, his wife, and my brother Zachary. And Zachary's like, yeah, they just, like, sat with grandma, but she's, like, dead, and they're, like, holding her hand and, like, brushing her hair with their hands, and I'm like, is this a thing? I'd never heard of that, but I was like, I guess that's what you just do. You just,
I
like, touch
wouldn't do
the
that with my
body.
parents. I would just kind of put a sheet over their head, maybe. Yeah, no, like, and I'm like, she's like, I don't want to leave him. And I'm like, Joanna, in my mind, I'm like, Joanna.
He's already left.
He's already left.
Yeah.
That's not Chaos anymore. Chaos isn't, like, I wanted to, like, yell at her, be like, Chaos is fucking inside you, dude. I know his spirit is back at our house.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, that's what I wanted to yell at her. I didn't want to tell her. I wanted to yell. And I obviously didn't. And she's like, what are they gonna like do to him? Like, where's he gonna go? Like, where is it? And I'm like, who's gonna take him? I'm like, does that even fucking matter? Like,
Yeah.
it's so terrible to think all these things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because in how I'm interpreting death is way different than how Joanna is. And for me, it's like, this dog had obviously a soul, and that soul has left, and now he's with you for fucking forever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not, this thing that you're holding or petting is not Chaos anymore. Like, Chaos is, like, it's not him.
Yeah.
It's a different, it's just a dog, like, or an animal.
It's like an object now.
Yeah, it's object. Like, it's not, he's not there.
Yeah.
So why are you fucking petting this thing that's not Chaos?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we all deal with death differently, and I probably dealt with it not the right way. I mean, I didn't say shit. I just sat there and cried a little bit, and then I couldn't pet him, though. She's like, you could, like, she told me and Adam that we could pet him. And, like, Adam came over from across the room, and I just sat in the middle of the floor on, like, the bed. And I'm like, I don't want to. And she's like, it's okay, you don't have to. Yeah. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, no, I'll probably regret not doing it. And I did. And I'm like, he's not responding to my touch. Like, there's no warmth. Like, it's just, like, nothing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, like, I started crying, like, a lot. Like, I'm like, I can't. And I tried to, like, push through. I'm like, nope. Mm-mm.
It's good to cry.
It is, but, like, it was just, like, I didn't want to cry about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry him passing, not because, I don't know. I just don't, it was too hard.
Yeah.
So then coming home, like, it was obviously weird because he's not fucking there. It's, like, it's weird because it feels like I broke up with somebody, but it's, like, on day 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it's, like, for me, like, death is, like, a part of life, and, like, and, you know, Joanna kept saying, like, I'm sorry. I'm like, Joanna, you gave him, like, a really great life, and he lived pretty long for his age.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was a good, God, he was such a good dog. Ugh.
Yeah, he was cute.
He was so great. Sweet and cute and, like, whiny and so great, but... Yeah, I don't know, like, how to... Like, with my parents dying, I don't... Fuck.
I just try to think about my parents. I'm like, they have so much time. So much time. And then I'm like,
Do they, though?
I don't know. My grandma lived until she was, like, 93. So...
I don't think like that for my dad. I think, like, oh, my God, my dad's gonna die of a heart attack. He doesn't take care of himself. My grandma, like, died when she was, like, basically 90. Like...
Yeah.
Like 3 days shy of her birthday or something like that. I can't remember. Or like my dad's gonna die from a car accident. I think like a sudden death.
Because he drives so much, or you just think that's what's gonna...
Just that's what, you know, I just had a fear, like if he like takes too long from coming home from something, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? You know? And then with my mom, I don't really think about death with my mom.
Uh-huh.
Because I always, like, imagine, like, my dad going first and then my mom, and my mom being an independent woman and, like, going on dates.
Well, usually the man does go first.
I know.
And then there's that whole thing where they say that if the wife dies in 2 years, the man will either remarry or he'll die. There's lots of studies on it.
Really?
Yeah, there's lots of studies on it. And I think it's probably more, like, cultural, like I don't know if it's going to change with the generations, but I think it might be the idea of like the man depends a lot on his wife for her to do a lot of, you know, like my friend is in her 60s and her husband has only made dinner twice in their entire marriage, and like once was recently, and he like boiled pasta somewhat successfully, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of like these generations we have that are older, like the man relies a lot on the wife and he doesn't know how to fucking do any of that shit. Where the wife can be more independent. Maybe not your mom with driving, but... but it was, like, true for my uncle because my aunt, she's married into the family. My aunt died, and then within 2 years... And she was in her 60s, late 60s. And then within 2 years, my uncle died, like, very suddenly. Like, because I remember my dad... I was in Puerto Rico, taking a bunch of 8th graders to Puerto Rico. And my dad called me, and I was like, oh, my God, is this, like... For him to call me in Puerto Rico, I was like, is this my grandma?
Yeah.
that died. And he was like, Grandma's fine. And I was like, and then he was like, but Uncle Mark, like, died extremely quickly. Like, he got, like, a cold or, like, a stomach flu or something, and then died, like, a day or two later, just, like, no one saw it coming.
What?
But his wife had died, 2 years before.
That's so weird.
So...
I mean, like, I can't really see my dad without my mom. I just see, like, my dad being, like, just a real, like, being extremely messy and free.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom is, like wants everything to be clean and stuff, which is the right way to do things, but my dad's, like, not that.
So that's why you're messy?
Yep. That's exactly why I'm messy. So that's how I picture, my parents. I don't really see my dad, like, getting together with anybody, because my dad's not a very sexual person, but my mom definitely is.
Wait, how do you know that?
Look at my mom.
Okay. Yeah, my stuff with, like, death, because when I was in college, I feel like everyone died. Like, when I was in college, and I couldn't go to any of the funerals because I was in Savannah. So, like, my grandpa died, my great uncle Johnny died, and my aunt Kathy died all in college. Like, I basically feel like in college my family, like, renewed itself. It's like all of the, like, old relationships changed, and then right after college my brother Nick started, like, pumping out babies. So it was like, oh, the old generation's gone, here's the new generation. And it's all centered around, like, Nick, where before it was, like, different.
Pumping out
Pumping. But yeah, I don't, with all those deaths and, like, my uncle and stuff, it's like I wanted to cry, but I, like, am not a crier.
Right.
And I, like, tried to cry, and I was like, this would be a nice release right now, and it just didn't happen. And I was like, cool.
I mean, when my grandma died, we knew that she was dying, and she was staying with my uncle because my aunt is a nurse, like, his wife is a nurse who's retired, so she was able to take care of her. And, like, I had to drive to work for something. This is when I was working for Lakeshore Beverage, and it's actually Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, like, I was crying while I was driving, and I, like, said goodbye to her on the phone, and my uncle was crying, and, like, he's like, oh, you're driving, you should pull over, and, like, I'm like, I'm not that sad enough to pull over.
Yeah.
And it's, like, sad to say, but, like, when that, like, following Christmas, like, my aunt who took care of her was like, like, she spoke, like, highly of you because she said that you were the only one that cared what happened to her. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, you were the only one to ask questions when she decided not to do, like, her treatment anymore. And I'm like, okay, like, 'cause I was asking her, like, well, what's going to be the pain management? What is going to be this? What's going to be that? Like, who's going to take care? Like, and like, I was asking all these questions, and you're like, you're the only one who did that. And I'm like, really? It's like, yeah, you're the one that, like, besides you and, like, my other cousin Jerome, who was, like, overseas, you were the only one calling consistently. I'm like, oh, shit.
Good job.
But, like, that spoke, like, to, like, I didn't think about, like, I, like, barely called her, too. And I, like, felt like I wasn't calling enough.
Yeah. I was the same way with my grandma. Like, I would write her letters, and my grandma was like, you're the only one that writes me letters of this.
Zachary didn't do that?
He might have, like, postcards if he traveled, but of this, how many of us are there? 6 of us grandkids. Like, she's like, you're the only one. And I didn't write them that often, but I wrote them, like, maybe every few months.
Yeah.
But they, like, that's important.
And I did it also because my dad would remind me, like, hey, you should call your grandmother. I'm like, you're right, I should. And I was like, oh my God, it's such a hassle. But it's sad to think that, like, it's a hassle to call your dying grandmother. Yeah. She's dying.
Yeah.
Okay. It's easy to come in, but it's hard to get out.
What does that mean?
It means it's easy. So I think, what's that saying? So my therapist said, like, her mom told her, like, it's not easy getting into this world, and it's not easy leaving it either. Because, like, dying is hard, like tiring. When I was looking at Chaos, I was like looking at a person who couldn't speak dying in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
Because his breathing was so like hard for him. He had to decide between breathing and eating. So that's why he didn't eat.
Yikes.
So and he can't talk. He can't say shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god. So like I don't know. I just like I don't know how to deal with. I feel like I don't know how to deal with death because I'm too like, cause like when Chaos was like getting sick, I'm like, hey, we should put him down like immediately now.
Oh, you're like cut the cord.
Cut the cord right now.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he was like that night when he was like fucking dying and I thought he was not gonna make the night. And I'm like, if I was doing it, I'd be like, we're doing this now. Cause
I think with pets you need like everyone has a different like benchmark. Like with my dogs, like growing up, I think my mom would be like, can they go up and down stairs?
Oh.
And they would struggle up and down stairs, but they could still do it. But when they finally couldn't do it at all, she would really start thinking about it.
Oh.
Or like Lucy, our last dog to die, she was like 50 pounds or something, and she's supposed to be like 70. Like she was
she's a
like
big dog.
yeah, she was like became severely underweight, and like I think that was my mom's like benchmark when they were like, she's like 25 pounds underweight, and my mom was like, okay, we can't keep doing this. Like she has no energy. She just lies around all day.
So I mean, like I just like.
But at least you were there. You know what I mean?
know.
Like, because that's what I think. What I thought about when my grandma died. Like, and this is not like anything against my brother, but I think it's just more against the way that we treat all this stuff. Like my brother Graham flew in for the funeral from England, but I was like, wouldn't it have been better for him to fly in like a few weeks before she died, and like she would have been able to see him before? Like that to me would be way more impactful than coming for the funeral.
I know. Like I want my funeral like to be a party, and I want to be alive for it, like celebrating my life. As an old person, I'm like, yeah, let me do all the drugs and drink it up.
Yeah.
And eat cake.
Have you had dreams about people that have died?
Yeah. Yeah. That's intense because I wake up crying. Like a lot. Like I can't breathe. Like it's like worse than any breakup, heartache, whatever. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
It's like weird because it's like, is this me processing it, or is this like a message from the beyond? Like after my uncle died, like my mom will talk about her dreams of like of her mom dying and stuff. Where her mom was like telling her stuff.
What?
About the afterlife.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah, my mom can tell you all about it. I don't quite remember everything.
What?
Yeah.
Well, can you say like one thing?
I'm trying to remember. She had some dream where her mom was like, Jamie, I'm fine. Like, I'm not like fully in heaven yet. I have to like learn a bunch of stuff first. And then I can like go on to the next step. But I have like a lot to learn here. But I'm doing okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Something like that.
It's so intense.
Yeah. And then for me, like when my uncle died, I had this dream like a week or so later, I think after the funeral, where I was like at my house I grew up in, and we had like the sun porch where you could see out into like the yard, and there were like bushes and stuff, and my uncle and Aunt Kathy, who I don't think I've ever had a dream about, they were like together outside, standing together in the yard speaking, but I was inside, so I just heard like the sounds, but I couldn't make out what they were saying, but they were like staring into the house and like talking, and I was like, what is this dream? What is this message? Like,
wow. My death dream is not anything real. This person's still alive. Yeah, it was like with Isaac, and like we were still living at the Marshfield apartment, and like he wanted to like move to LA with me, and I'm like, I'm in love with you, and I don't think that's a good idea because you don't feel the same way about me in my mind. And then I'm like, oh, like maybe like my friendship with him has an ending or something. Like I'm like, I think I'll be okay. I had a dream where he got shot, and I saw him get shot, and I wake up, it's like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like I'm crying. I've never cried harder in my life. Like, I can't breathe. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'm like, oh, great. I guess I can't live without him. Okay, but look at me. Living.
30, flirty, and thriving.
Yeah, 31. Yes.
Flirty one and thriving one.
So, yeah, I know I've had another dream with him dying, and I cried a lot, but I can't remember it. And I know somebody else too, but...
I mean, when I was, like, with my first boyfriend in college, and he'd broken up with me, but he was, like, would visit Savannah sometimes, and I think I wanted to get back together, but we weren't. I had a dream where I, like, chopped him up into, like, a million pieces and put him in a bag and, like, snuck him out of his mom's house.
Oh my god.
And then I told him I had that dream, which probably wasn't smart, because I think it freaked him out. But...
Ooh.
Okay, so question time.
Okay.
So we have a question. How do you deal with FOMO in this digital age? All your friends, colleagues, frenemies, etc. went to the hottest summer festival or got brunch at the trendiest little cafe last weekend and posted #squad goal group selfies all over the gram without you, gosh darn it. What are some tricks to avoid the dreaded anxiety-inducing FOMO, or how can you put yourself in a good attitude and spin the situation to avoid those fears?
Let me just say that
Whoa.
that's fucking fake shit.
The pictures are fake?
Yeah. First of all, like, not that the pictures are fake, but just, like, they, like, overhype it for a reason, okay? Those are just, like, moments that are...
Right, it's like
That are just, like,
it's a
strategically
choreographed...
curated.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not real life. Okay? Do you know how many times I take a picture of my fucking, like, brunch plate or the plate that I'm, like, eating if I'm going out at a nice place with my parents? With my parents?
Uh-huh.
Okay? Parents. Not friends. Parents. That's how cool I am. So, yeah, like, a lot. Like, 5 or 6. To get one.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Like, it's annoying as fuck. It's not real.
I mean, that's why I was afraid to get Instagram in the first place, because I remember I got it, and then I saw that my roommate, who I'm also friends with, was at Logan Arcade, like, partying with, like, this R2-D2 that was there. Like, they had, like, an R2-D2. But, like, we were roommates, and we both lived in walking distance to Logan Arcade, and I was like, why wasn't I invited? Then I was like, FOMO, and I, like, was like, I can't do Instagram. I can't do it. It's too hard.
You didn't... I, like... Back when I was a kid, like, I had FOMO all the time, and I would, like, cry. But now as an adult, I'm like, hello? Why didn't you invite me? Where's my invite? I invite myself, or I question the person why they didn't invite me.
Right.
If I'm good friends with them. If I'm not good friends, and I'm trying to maintain a friendship, I'm just like, okay, you came into town, you had plans to be in the city, you invited other people, but you invited me last minute, even though I talked to you on Instagram. So...
I think it's something where, like, FOMO makes you it creates a situation where you have to look at your friendships like straight in the face for what they are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, all my friends went camping in Michigan without me, and you're like, no, Miles, they're not all your friends. You're friends with one of them, and then they have a group of friends, and you're not in that group. You're friends with the person, one person, but you're not friends with the other people, and you're not part of that group. Like, FOMO forces you to think like that, where you're like, let's be realistic about our relationship.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Like, set expectations. Set lower expectations.
Basically,
That's what I've done throughout my adult life. Like, it's like, when someone, like, disappoints me about something, like, friendship-wise, I'm like, boop.
Yeah.
Lower
like,
that
I guess
shit.
you're not as good of a friend as I am.
Nope. I'm like, I'm just gonna, like, lower my expectations of you, and I'm not gonna expect anything else from you ever again. So.
I do have one friend, though, where I, like, definitely, because I want to be better friends with him then, and I think we are, like, I get invited more of his stuff now, but I did, like, push on it where I, like, saw that his, like, boyfriend, this was, like, a few years ago, his boyfriend had, like, a birthday party, pool party thing, and I was, like, not invited. But then I, like, saw this friend a week later, and I was like, oh my god, your boyfriend's birthday party looked so fun. And then he was like, oh my god, sorry, I should have invited you. Like, I was like, let me just let you know that I want to be better friends with you. Like, make that clear.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, that's a good way to do that.
it's, like, a little bitchy, but it's also, like, I like you, and I do want you to invite me to stuff. So.
Yeah. Like, my city friends, they even forget to invite me to things.
Yeah, suburban. I mean, it's probably because you're in the suburbs.
Because I'm in the suburbs. But it's fine.
What's our advice here?
Our advice is, like,
don't give a shit.
take it as a grain of salt and lower your expectations.
Yeah.
And
say something. If
say
it
something
bothers
if
you.
it really bothers you.
Yeah. Should we do successes of the week?
So, I don't even know I have.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I bought a table.
Yeah,
my
it's
place.
nice, guys.
It's made out of mango wood.
Ooh, where is it from?
A Craigslist. It was from a blonde hot mom's house where she was like in a tank top and it was air conditioned to like 62 degrees and I was like, how can you live like this? It's so cold in here. And I got the bars taken off my back window.
Ooh.
So I'm not living in a prison. That was $200. Yikes. So that finally I'm like, it's feeling like more like a home in here. I don't have a couch yet, but my like dining room is like done.
I'm just remembering, what was my fail?
But the fail was that you couldn't turn off the lights on your van.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, and I went to the park with my friend on Thursday. And we played volleyball.
Oh my god.
We played volleyball at a park, and I was like, why don't we go to the park more? The park's
remember?
amazing.
Wait, we should go play tennis. We need to go play
Oh, I
tennis.
know. It's like when I was doing that and other guys playing basketball, and I was like, and people walking their dogs, I was like, this is the life. Why am I inside so much?
Laying down. It's so choice,
I love
though.
laying down, though.
I love laying down. My success of the week is probably calling the insurance companies right away.
Did they pay for your rental car?
No, because it doesn't claim, they haven't claimed liability yet. They're still under investigation of the accident.
Oh, but you might be able to get it later.
Oh, I will definitely be able to get it because she was in the left turn lane and you have to stay in that fucking lane because it's solid lines and you are coming into my lane.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Haven't heard from them. Of course, it's the weekend.
Right.
Real worried because, like, they got my statement before her statement.
Mm-hmm.
So, real worried. They're like, we tried calling her, she didn't pick up. I'm like, great. Oh my god. So, real kind of worried that she's not. Because when I talked to her, she seemed like she didn't, like, think it was her phone, kind of. Or it was, like, join party. And I'm like, no. It's not.
Yeah.
You didn't fucking see me. But yeah, usually, like, I would just, like, I'll call them later. I'll ignore their phone calls until I have to talk to them. But no, I did that shit, like, right away. I miss my dirty car. I miss her.
You should stop by a grade school and hand out candy from the van.
No. They'll be like, your van sucks. There's no Bluetooth in here. I'm like, I know.
Just be like,
you have an auxiliary cord jack? Like, what the fuck is that?
Be like, well, you're gay.
I know. Thank you.
No, they'd be like, I came out when I was 2, bitch.
Okay, I guess that's it, guys.
That's our episode. You can email us questions at idkpod@gmail.com.
Or Instagram at idk.
What I'm
What
doing
Doing
pod. Please continue to email us questions. People that have never emailed us, we get a lot of questions from the same people, which we love you. But we know we have listeners that have never asked us questions.
Never ask us questions.
And like
ever.
would love your
Like
question.
how much?
Okay,
is
we're not
too
gonna
much?
we're not gonna insult any listeners, but would love your questions, Kyle N. Still waiting.
Just send us questions. It's part of the show.
Yeah, that's more key. More clutch. Kids still say that?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, failures.
I used to think that the older you got, the better and more effective of a person you would become.